Are we, for the folks who can see over the screen there, are we on the record right now? Is the transcription running? Okay, so here's the thing. With the transcription, you guys know that this is new this year, and I think it's been very, very cool. And I've had a lot of questions about how it's working, because it is so darn effective. So the way that that's actually happening is there is a live participant of Party Track that is not here. They are off-site, and it's a court reporting service. So ponder that. Okay, so when I'm not at DEFCON, I'm an attorney back home, and court reporters obviously sit there and transcribe court proceedings and depositions and very bland and boring types of materials. So there is a team of court reporters that has now gotten to transcribe this for all of us and type the words that have been coming out of all these speakers' mouths, like dongs, pumpkin poop, booze. Okay? So it may be one of the more interesting types of projects that they've ever been assigned to. So my question to our court reporter is, what do you think? So how about just one more time for our court reporter here in Party Track. Let's make applause show up on that screen. Awesome stuff. I'm going to be taking off pretty soon. You guys have been great. Party Track totally rocks, and I will probably see you all next year. Without further ado, we are going to learn something about exploitation detection systems now. Have a good time, everybody.
Hello, guys. Hello, girls also. Girls mainly. Today I will talk about exploitation detection system. First, I am Amr Thabet. I am from Egypt. I am a malware researcher at Q-CERT in Qatar. I am the author of some open source projects like SRDF. I will talk about SRDF today, and Pokas X6 Emulator. I wrote a malware analysis paper in Stuxnet about Stuxnet, and that's it. That's my first time here in DEFCON. So thank you. Give me a good chance. Okay, let's begin. As you all know, pen testing right now or hacking right now become different from the security compliance that we add. Like they are not attacking the servers right now. They are not trying to use metasploit and attacking the server using Nmap and all of these techniques. Right now, most of the attacks are advanced persistent threats. They are attacking from the client side. They are using spear phishing. They are attacking the employees of the company, and from their clients, from their machines, they attacking the servers. So they can bypass most of the security compliance applications, firewalls, intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system. They can bypass everything. They use some undetectable malwares infecting the clients using HTTP connection, HTTPS. So they are bypassing everything. They are bypassing also the antiviruses. And all of the security tools right now become useless. So what's the solution? What is the new technology? What's the new era? That's what we are talking today. The next security technology is, from my point of view, is the exploitation detection system. We need to secure the client like we are securing the server. We need to secure from the client-side attacks and the exploits. We need to stop the successful exploitation, stop the using of 0 days, and make it harder. Actually, when the security begin, they begin with antivirus as a technology, the WoW technology, and after a time it was bypassed, and there is another attack, so they created the firewalls and become very, very powerful, and after a time bypassed, so they're creating the intrusion detection systems and intrusion prevention systems, and they are now bypassed. So what's the next? The next is the exploitation detection system. That's the era of exploitation detection system. Today, I will talk about the exploitation detection system as a new technology, as a new concept. That's what I already talked about. I will talk about also my tool, my exploitation detection system tool, how it can stop the attacks, how it can mitigate the attacks. I will talk also about the development, still in the middle, but I will talk about what we reached until now. And I will have a little bit of advertisement for my open source development framework. I will talk about it also. How many people here know about assembly, exploits, understand all of this? Good, not too much, but I will explain everything from zero. No problem. Okay. First, we'll talk about why EDS, the goals of this tool, how I created and all of this. Then I will talk about the design of this tool and the mitigations that it used inside EDS to stop all the attack vectors, and I will talk about the attack vectors, explaining them in details, not in brief, not huge details for everyone to understand. And I will talk about the monitoring system, it's also inside the EDS, and then the development and my future point of view for EDS. Let's begin. Simply, as I said, it's created mainly to stop the exploitation, as I see most of the attacks now using social engineering and the exploitations, the client-side attacks and all of this. So that's what I created this tool for. It stopped the memory corruption exploits. I know maybe you don't know about memory corruption. I will describe it right now. It detects the compromised processes if you have an ad breeder and a malicious PDF file running it, and it also exploited your process. So it tried to detect that this process was compromised, do an unknown behavior or has some corruption in its memory, and it stopped that. It prevent or alert someone in the company, the IT administrators or the security team, about there is a machine or there is a client has been hacked. Simply, memory corruption is about what? If you have a space of memory and there is a buffer created there is an application, take the username and password, and he imagined that maximum your name will be 200 characters. No one has a name longer than this, so it creates a buffer for it, and take your username, copy all your username inside this buffer, and he don't check on the size of your username, and then run. Actually, if I send a username with 1,000 byte or so 1,000 character length, he will write on the 200 bytes of his buffer, and then he will overwrite some other places in memory. These places in memory could be if you are could be a pointer to a place in memory, could make some corruption, could be a pointer in a code in the stack, something named the stack, has a pointer named return address. The processor or the CPU, after a time, go through this pointer and execute the code that this pointer points to. So if I override this pointer, I can make the CPU go to another place in your application. So if it's something, check the password, I can override this pointer and make it return that you win, or you passed, or something like this, or your username and password are correct. So I can change the behavior of your process using some modification in your memory. And that's what's named memory corruption. You can know about it more in Corlan.be. That's Corlan team is a very, very good team, has 10 exploits talking about memory corruption vulnerabilities, how to use it, how the people use it. And as you see in these pictures, I show you that there is an override. He overwritten the return address as you see, so I can now modify the behavior of this process. Okay, some people will ask, okay, EDS, good point, but what's the difference between the exploitation detection system and the antivirus? Simply, EDS is not signature based, is not mainly behavior based. It's simply searching the memory for any corruption in it. If there is unknown corruption or unknown override, you can detect that. It doesn't detect malware. It's not to detect there is a new virus or something. It's just search for exploitation. Okay. So there is something before EDS. There is something new. No. There is compile time solutions, and the compile time solutions was created by Microsoft, like GS cookie. They add a cookie before the return address that we saw in the previous slide to check if it was overwritten or not, something like this. But the compile time solutions has a problem that it forces everyone to recompile the application to add this feature. So always there is an exception. Will be someone, developer will not compile with the new technology, so I can bypass also. There is other runtime solutions. One of them was Emit, who talked about his great tool from 2 presentations, and there is others. From my point of view, I see it's like on-off mitigation. It's this action is a malware, or this is an exploit, or that's not an exploit. I need something more flexible. It's one layer of mitigation, one layer of defense. He can't know that he was bypassed or not. I will talk about this. Okay. So what we have, what new things we have. We have cooperative mitigations. We'll talk about this. We have a scoring system. We have something more flexible to detect exploitation and so on. We have additional layer of monitoring system, and this monitoring system, we'll talk about it. It detects if there is something bypassed the attack, bypassed all mitigations, and there is an attack already working. So it's another additional layer to secure. Simply, the design that there is payload detection. We will talk about what is shellcode and what's robot chain. We have shellcode detector, we have robot chain detector. After that, we have the attack vector detector. We have security mitigations for the stack and with heap. Actually, the stack, as we saw in the 2 slides, its place includes some return addresses, and this return addresses, if it was overwritten, it will create a problem. It can change the behavior of the application. The heap has something similar named vtable. Vtable, actually, it has some pointers of some functions. In a time, the processor can execute one of them, and if they are also overwritten, it will create a problem. After that, we have the scoring system and the monitoring system. Okay, somebody. The scoring system is based on 3 things. Based on payload detection, based on shellcode, based on what you sent in your input. If you send a code or something like this, if you send a robot chain or return address. Return what? Also, it includes, it detects the exploitation attack vector. If there is an attack way he did, there is something suspicious, it tries to stop this. Also, it scans on something suspicious related to this process, like Adobe Reader connect to unknown website or create a new process named command.exe. That's a suspicious action. So it gives more score or higher score for this attack or this input. There is something more suspicious. Okay. The monitoring system simply searching for evidence of exploitation, detect there is a bypassed already mitigation, this process was compromised, there include like unknown DLLs, there is some functions hooked or something like this, there is something unknown running in this process. We will talk about it in details. First, what's shellcode? Simply, as I told you that I can send username 1000 bytes, but and I can overwrite a return address, and I can also modify this return address to return to my user input, to return to my username, so the processor will execute my username as it's a code. No. So shellcode is simply some bunch of bytes I can send as it's a username, and actually it's an assembly code in bytes. So I can, when I can modify the return address, I can make the processor execute my username or execute the bytes, this bunch of bytes, and this bunch of bytes do an action for myself. So I can control your process. I can send you a code, and this code will get executed, and I am like I am inside your PC. The shellcode, simply it's first it gets its place in memory. That's the first thing it do, because it's running in unknown space. It's just username copied in unknown buffer. So try to take where it is, and then getting the Windows functions to execute, like I need to execute a new application, I need to create command.exe, I need to connect to internet, so it gets the Windows functions to do all of this, and then attack. There is a good article about this in Code Project, you can check it. There's any problem until now? Actually, some shellcodes are forced to not have any null byte or zero. Why? Because when I send the username always it's just a string or a text. So the text in Windows finished with null byte or 0 byte. That means that your username was finished. So the shellcodes should not have null bytes. That's a point, or most of them. They are sometimes encrypted. If you see Metasploit, how many people here used Metasploit? A lot. Actually, Metasploit, when you choose the payload, choose a shellcode, you can encode it to bypass antiviruses and all signature-based ways. So sometimes shellcodes are encrypted, and there will be like a loop trying to describe it byte by byte. So there will be a loop, some code execute in like a cycle, and some shellcodes are forced to be in ASCII, like they are characters A, B, C, and so on, because some applications check if the username includes some unknown bytes. That's it. So we need to detect that this username, this person name includes some shellcode, includes some code inside it, and he tried to modify the application behavior to run this shellcode. So I created a shellcode detection tool. My goal in this tool is to be very fast, because this input will be sent in small time and an action will happen after that, so I don't need to have a memory any time use. I need it to be very hard to bypass and to be very strong, and have some false positives but low as I can. So I added static shellcode detection. Static shellcode means it just maximum disassemble or just check the bytes. It doesn't try to, when it detects the shellcode, it doesn't run it. That's the meaning of static. It doesn't run the shellcode, it just scan on it, disassemble it, convert it to assembly, and try to understand if there's really an assembly code or it's just a bunch of bytes. And we divide this shellcode detector into 3 phases. The first phase that we search in this username an indication there is a code, there is a working code, and we will detect how we can do this. Like we detect there is a loop, a working loop inside. There is something. If I disassemble all of these instructions, I find a jump to one of these instructions, and the code simply working. That's the first indication of possible shellcode. The second, I filter all of the instructions that invalid, or some CPU instructions that are corrupted or not used in the normal process, and then I do some flow analysis on all of this shellcode. If this code will work fine or it will not work. It's just a bunch of bytes. Thank you.
Why'd you stop speaking?
What I say?
Go. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's take a break.
All right, you know the drill. What are we called? No, it's not fuck the speaker. I don't know what.
I'm getting off stage.
Shot the noob. What are you doing? All right. Oh, and we need who's first time at Jesus. I think the guy here in front actually got there first. So, all right, here you are, sir.
Wait. You're gonna interview him.
What? Oh, yeah, we have to interview him first.
What's your name?
Orbo,
Where are you from?
Utah.
Why'd you come to DEFCON?
Why are you drinking?
Because I'm not Mormon.
Oh, all right.
Why are you in Utah?
All right, cheers.
All right, cheers to everybody first time at DEFCON. How's he doing? Should we invite him back next year?
That was a big one.
5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. We're taking this?
I will take it.
Is this yours?
No, it's not mine. I'm just joking.
That's awesome. I don't know, but we'll just leave it there for the next speakers.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. What we said? That's the shellcode detector. Okay. We search for indication of a shellcode. First, we search for a working loop. How it works? Actually, the assembly code for x86, each instruction has a variable size. Like instruction have 3 bytes, instruction have 5 bytes, and so on. So what we are doing is we disassemble from a place to our research for a jump to something previous and disassemble between all of them. If the assembly code works fine, that the last instruction end before the jump, so it means that it's something, it's a real loop. So the jump is here pointing to an instruction, and all of this instruction we're running, and we'll return to this jump, and so on. We search for something like this. It seems that it's a working loop. That seems a shellcode. That's just an indication. We check for there is in some shellcodes they call to something to address in previous. Why? To try to using a simple way to get where they are in the memory. I don't know. I don't need to enter the details, but we can detect there is a call to something previous and disassemble between the call and between the destination, so we can know that it seems a working loop or something like this. We check also on some loop instructions inside the x86. That's the first way to indicate there is seems a shellcode or something. Then, if we didn't find the loop, we search for high rate of a known instruction named push. Usually, it was used in the shellcodes that it must be an ASCII, must be to be characters A, B, C, something like this. We detect there is a high rate of these pushes, and after that, usually the shellcodes that include pushes, push instructions save a value inside the stack. So if you have 100 of pushes and then call to the stack, it could be like an encryption way or a shellcode encrypted and will describe all the shellcode in the stack and then call to it. So we can detect something like this. And also we have an instruction named fistinv. That's an assembly instruction, but it's used very much with shellcodes because it detects where they are, the shellcode. So with all of these three ways, we can see that it seems a shellcode here, that this assembly or this person name is suspicious. Then we skip some invalid instructions. Some of these instructions in, out, and all of this are related to devices and are used in the kernel mode of Windows, used by the device drivers, not used by normal applications. And some of them, some instructions has unknown behavior, some crazy things in Intel assembly. But we skip all of these instructions if we found them. So the shellcode. So if we found the shellcode has these instructions, it seems corrupted or something. And then we do some flow analysis. Simply, if you have a loop, the loop should have, if it saves something in the stack, it should get the value that it saves in the stack, because stack is like it's like a cup of water. You add to it and then you take from it, so you can't fill it until it overflowed. You need to add to it and then take what you added. So if you have a loop, you should have push and pop. You should have something add in the stack and another instruction take from the stack. So we check on this. We check on compare and jumps and all of this. We check for the null-free bytes. After I designed this shellcode and after I wrote it, I tested it in some false positives and some real shellcodes in Metasploit. For the false positives, I detect that 4% of the shellcodes, of 4% of junk data, it detected as a shellcode. That's it's not a very high level of false positives, but not few. But it detects all Metasploit shellcodes. It can detect them. It can detect the Shellstorm shellcodes, famous website for shellcodes. but actually manual evasion is still possible. Robot chain, it's simply return-oriented programming, and as you can see, it's simply when there's a mitigation windows created named data execution prevention, prevent the users from prevent any data sent as username or something like that to be executed. So some people try to return inside the application itself and try to find very few instructions after this instruction, the return instruction, and to make a call return, or return to some instructions, and then return to another some instructions inside the code section of the application, and another, and collect these small pieces together to create a working shell code from the code of the application. So it can bypass the data execution prevention, and it can have a working shell code. We detect all of them easily. We check if the address is in the executable module. We check the return, it's a return after a call or not, and all of this. Okay. For the stack mitigations, we detect we have a mitigation named wrong module switching, and it's simply, we detect that there is a return to a Windows API. The Windows functions or Windows APIs are some functions created by Windows to do some stuff like creating a new process or something like this. We check if there is a call to it or it's a return to this call. If there is a return to this API, so it seems a return-oriented programming or seems an attack. We talk about return, robot attack. Most of this type of attack vector, what they do to bypass data execution prevention, they create some pieces of robot attacks or robot gadgets, as we described it, some piece of codes. This piece of codes call to virtual protect API or some other APIs. Virtual protect can make the stack executable, so they can use the rob gadgets to create to call to virtual protect to make the username that I entered as a shell code or the shell code inside my username become executable, so I can return to the shell code and bypass that execution prevention. So what we do is we hook the calls to the system. There is a kernel mode that include the Windows device drivers, and the process connect to the Windows kernel mode using an instruction named system enter. We are hooking here and do stack backtracing, check every caller to this to system enter, check the caller to system enter and the caller to the caller until we reach if there is a call from the application to this API or there is no caller, so it's return-oriented programming. Actually, in Windows 32 we can hook the SSD hooking, but in Windows 64 we can't create a device driver that hook the SSD hooking. So we hook the Windows emulator, WoW64 emulator. We can hook any function calling to the kernel mode, system enter and something like this. We hooking virtual protect and all of this protection APIs, and the creating process and should execute that could execute an application, so the attacker can execute command.exe, for example. We hook these functions. We hook the functions that will create a socket or connect to the internet and all of this stuff. What we do exactly after we do the backtracing and reach the call to this application, to call to this API in the application, we check if this call is really a call to this API or that's a fake return address created by the attacker. we do some checks like we check if there's a call to this API or not. We check the parameters if really what we saw in the parameters are the parameters that created by this API caller. The application call to this API with these parameters or not. We will see this again. We check if the application itself has a call to the function that calls to this API. We check another things, and after that we give a score to this API. Yes, that's a call to this API or not. We check on different type of calls to detect there's really a call to this API. We check there's the parameters. We check if really if there is a constant parameter, the process give it to this API, like it gives a parameter, it gives the name of the process actually, create process, it has a create process API, and it gives to create process API a parameter, a specific application, and the attacker try to use this part of the code and try to give it another parameter. We can detect this, something like this. We will see right now. Let's see the demo. Sorry. I hope it can work. Anyone see anything? Anyone see anything? Okay. I don't see already. No problem. Simply, we begin by we have Firefox API, Firefox application, and we try to we try to hook this API and hook the Firefox and check if we run an application using Firefox, if there is a real call to this API or not, or this it really Firefox who run this application, or it's a fake call or something. We first hook the application, and then we here clicked on application in Firefox, so we forced Firefox to execute an application or create a process, and then we check on the parameters of this. I don't see the video, but no problem. We check on the parameters, we check on the call stack, we do some stack backtracing and check on the call stack, and check on the parameters, it checked the score, and we saw the score is 2, so it's a normal call. And then I don't see anything, but okay, sorry. I made a vulnerable application, small vulnerable application, which not call to shell execute. It gives an input and return to shell execute. So I tested it. Okay. I run the application, and it's vulnerable. It gives the message that in the call in the code, and then it should return to shell execute, which execute a function. So we check this, and it detects there is no call, and it detects there is an attack and gives a high score, so it can stop this attack. And then we have a CH mitigation. Simply we check if the instructions exception handling is working fine. And then we have some mitigations for heap. We detect the heap overflow, heap spray, heap user after free. We hook the GML lock, the global alloc, the function that allocate in the heap, and all of this. And we detect that we add some cookies on each allocated buffer and try to detect if there is an overflow to this buffer in the heap or not. And for heap spray, we try to detect there is a large memory allocation in very small time from the same module and try to stop this heap spray. We scan for shellcode and robot chain. If we found the shellcode and robot chain inside, so it's simply a heap spray. And we detect use after free. We detect there is a use after free if there is a class including some pointers or creating something in vtable. We try to make this buffer freed after we delay it's free, so we can stop any use after free. And then we have the scoring system. We describe the scoring system. We stop this all type of attacks using our scoring system. We try to detect the payload and the attacking vector and all of this. And then if we didn't find it's a real attack, we can at least mark it as suspicious and give it to the administrator. We have the monitoring system, and the monitoring system we check if all of our mitigations was bypassed. We check the executable place in memory. We check if there is executable place in stack, there is executable place in heap, there is executable place in memory mapped files, so it's something suspicious. We search for robot chains in the memory and shellcodes and all of this stuff. We check if there is a thread running outside the memory and all of this. What we are planning for, we are planning to create in any company to have a central server which get all the logs from all of the exploitation detection system applications inside the clients inside the company, so they can get some information from all of this, detect if there is a suspicious action happened on all of the clients, and then using also correlate all of this information with the intrusion detection system and all of these tools. They can create a timeline of an attack. They can detect there is an attack and contain it. That's the future work. Okay. Development, EDS is based on security research and development framework. It's a development framework I already created. Until now, it's include 3 contributors. It's a development framework written in C++. It's for Windows right now, and we could include a version Linux and version Python. Simply, SRDF is a development framework for writing security tools. This development framework includes a bunch of security tools inside it. It includes a PE and ELF parser, include a PDF parser, including Android parser. It includes for static analysis a full assembler and disassembler engine, and Delphic Java disassembler. It includes some wildcard scanning and all of this. It includes for dynamic scanning, full process analysis, debugger, full debugger, and an emulator. It includes for behavioral API hooking and all of this. Simply, SRDF is a development framework. You can build your application using it. You will not waste your time. If you have an idea and you need to implement it, you will not waste your idea. You can use the SRDF and implement your idea easily, and don't waste your time on creating and reinventing the wheel and creating all of the tools. We have network analysis, we have packet capturing, decision analysis, and all of this. I will talk about it in details in Virus Bulletin. Just join us. That's the website, the GitHub version. Join SRDF or use it. You can reach us for exploitation detection system if you need to support this idea, if you have a feedback, if you have any question, if you have anything, just mail me or send me on Twitter or anything. That's it. EDS, exploitation detection system, in my opinion, it's a new era. All people should jump into something like this. That's the new technology which can stop the APT attacks. Join us. Thank you.